Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the May 16th first light session. Oh my goodness. We're about to embark on a journey of cliff teas. This will be 6 straight sessions of cliff teas. I am so happy to start off with First Light. First Light's actually a very famous cliff tea that doesn't get much credit. And that's because it's got a name that shares a name with a relative, and the relative steals all the credit for everything. And so when you look at First Light, it's like, well, heck, who wants little Scarlet Road when you can have mainline Scarlet Road? So First Light is a varietal called Little Scarlet Road, and it is related to mainline Scarlet Road. But the flavor profile is different, and it is fabulous. So we've been down the Cliff Road process many times. It's complicated. It can be up to 30 steps. For those who are deep in the lineage, it can take longer than 9 months. Some of the farmers who are really deep into the lineage take a year or more. Most farmers, though, 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. And I'm talking about farmers who come from the premium areas. So in the mountain, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Do those months include from the moment of the picking and finishing the pick to the final step of letting the tea rest?
Great question. So I just used this very loose terminology about, well, the process takes this amount of time or that amount of time. And the question is, well, time as measured how? And so what I mean here is just from picking, that's the start. The day that it was picked, all the way to the day that the farmer is ready to let it go. And so this brings up another question. And that's why I love this question so much, because what do you mean, ready to let it go? What is it? I mean, is it incarcerated or something, ready to let it go? No. Here's what the situation is. Most of the great cliff teas, when they're really finished, and so let's define finished, the farmer's done the final roast, rested it for as long as they want to rest it. So farmer makes a judgment. And this is where we are kind of in an odd position, because we get so many of these before they're actually on market. And that's because farmers traditionally would want to rest it until the following Chinese New Year's, because many of these, when they come, not many of them, a portion of them, when they come to market, and let's not say come to market, when they are first finished, are so intense that you take a sip and it's like, oh my God, you didn't warn me. I need warning before you give me this type of tea. Because of the intensity of the minerality, sometimes the intensity of the roast. So farmers tend to release it a little bit later to the market so that rounds off a little bit. But as it turns out, here at Sophie's, where all of you sophisticated premium drinkers, tea drinkers are, you like that challenge of give me a straight early. And so we do that here. And that's why this is a complicated question. Most tea purveyors won't be able to tell you this because they don't know where in the cycle they're getting it. That's the first thing. Sometimes they don't even realize that there's a cycle. Oh yeah, I have this cliff tea. When was it picked? Well, when I got it. Oh, okay. And the processing in between. Oh yeah, there was a few months of processing. That's wrong. That's just plain wrong. You've got to understand where your tea is in the process. And that's why here, as the teas mature, it's also important to understand where it is in that maturation process, because some of these teas you truly won't find anywhere else, not because the farmer didn't sell to other vendors, but simply because it's in the maturation process. And if it's 3 or 4 years in, you don't know whether you're getting that. You do here, obviously. And so the first line here that we're tasting today, we've had that around already for 7 years. And so there's a big maturation process in that. And you'll be able to taste it. This is the beauty of what we do here, because you get these different cycles and you taste all the cycles, and all of a sudden it starts to produce a pattern. And once you learn that pattern, you won't be able to go anywhere else and be fooled. Oh yeah, I just got this in. What? Would you like to restate that? You'll know. You'll be able to taste it. No, oh no, I don't think that that's true. So first, as I said, First Light's been here for about 7 years. Great, fabulous tea. It's been a favorite from the beginning, but it gets lost on a board of 150 cliff teas. It shouldn't, though. And you'll see why in a minute. So what important thing do I want to bring up? Because we've been through the processes, but there's one thing that I don't think I've ever talked about. When you talk to a farmer who does cliff teas, they'll tell you two things are very, very important. The two most important things when they're making tea. You make the tea, that is, you produce the leaves. You go through that process understanding the leaves. Oh gosh, that doesn't seem so deep. Well, the words don't seem very deep because none of them, well, understanding is more than 8 letters, but everything else is less than 8 letters. And you're thinking, that was a bunch of simple words. It's not a simple concept, though. The concept is, what part of the mountain did they come from? Northern slope, eastern slope, western slope. Hey, what was the weather terroir this year? What exact date did you pick them? Because remembering day by day, this affects how they come off. In other words, if it's foggy, you picked them, or it was very foggy for a week and then all of a sudden it cleared up, okay, you've got that condition. So when you handle the leaves, you have to know what that condition is. Oh, and I spoiled the second thing that I needed to tell you that the farmer said. I can't believe that. I just naturally went and spoiled the second thing. The second thing the farmer says is, you make the leaves according to the weather, which is what I just described. You have to understand what the weather has been 3 days before and then during the time you're doing it. Because if the air is heavy, ooh, I better roast this a little bit different. Wow. The air is nice and light. Hey, I have some opportunities to handle it a different way. This is why when you look at our collection, you should be stunned, because we give you teas that go through all of those particular points, and they're data points. What was the weather like? What's the varietal like? These are data points because we've gotten so many of them. And that's what makes your experience. Oh, there's a but that's one of the very important underlying principles that makes your experience so unique and interesting in here. All right, that's what we're going to talk about today. And the tea master is going to demonstrate the brewing of First Light, and then you're going to taste it. You're going to make good notes because remember, we have 6 sessions. Let's do First Light. Biju, tea master.
Hey everyone, good morning. Yeah, 早上好. We do 岩茶. This is the oolong tea. I call clip tea roughly. 泡岩茶. So we change 了哈. I use clay teapot. Just 1 cup. Okay, just help me please.
Just 1 cup.
Yeah.
Wow, looks like I'm getting ration. No, that's not what's happening. Usually we use 2 cups, brew uncovered. Here we use the magic Yisheng pot. It's covered. It enhances the heat. Enhanced heat are what Cliff teas need. They absolutely need enhanced heat. This is 200 degrees. Something. 3 minutes. Nope. Okay. 5 grams. Making sure that the pot is completely empty and clean. Those are the Chinese terms for these tools that we use to handle the tea leaves, not touching them. You don't really want to touch the leaves because you don't know what's on your hands. Shake and smell in rhythm. Timing. Set your timers, that is. Drawing 200 degree water. So here, unlike all the other teas, well, let's tell you, okay, if you err in terms of temperature, err on the light side, because you won't hurt yourself. Here is the one exception. Don't err, first off. But if you do err on the heated side. These leaves love heat, and that's why you do them in Yisheng pot. You do them in a Yisheng pot, and it just brings out all those flavors. Remember, the farmer took 30 steps, 26 to 30 steps, handcrafted to get the tea leaves just right. Your responsibility is to handle the brewing in such a way so that you get it just right, so that you get what the farmer's trying to present to you. The farmers in the Wui Mountains are artisans. They don't just get up, oh, let's pick today, let's denature the enzyme, let's go ahead and make it pretty, roll it a little bit, let's dry it out, let's put it on the market in under 3 days. No. Now, this sounds like I just bashed green tea. Don't take it that way. Green tea, I simplified how I said it. Green tea, you do have to handle, and it should be treated in the right way. The point I'm really trying to make here is this took so many more steps, and there were so many ways that you could go wrong. Each varietal ends up being an art piece. And once you think of that, especially in here, you suddenly realize, oh yeah, you going down to Sophie's Tea? Oh no, I'm not going to Sophie's Tea. I'm going to Sophie's Tea Museum. That's what I'm going to, because it's the art pieces I'm going to be experiencing. That's really what you're experiencing here. And that's why I know, it seems like we're OCD sometimes, no smells, come in here without, a lot of adornment, don't sneak anything in here. We're terrible. We just have that real focus, but there's a reason for it. It's just like when you go in the art museum, do they let you touch the paintings? I've many times had a desire. My hand has almost made it there. I realized, oh, wait a minute, that's probably not within the rules. And you pull it back. There's rules here, and this is why. Because these are art pieces, and you want to make sure not only you enjoy, you don't want to disturb the people around you, their enjoyment of these art pieces. So hence, we're pretty tough about this. All right. Timer has gone off. Look at this nice rhythm that the tea master has. Not in a hurry. She's doing art. I love it when she's doing art. Wow, look at that piece of art. So let's see, with art, I'm supposed to talk about color. Well, let's look at that beautiful color. Wow, what a beautiful color. That's the first piece of art. We're not used to going into a museum and using our noses to detect the art. But here, this is nose art. We have a detection. So it's not only visual, it's the detection. And gosh, only at Rob's house do we have taste art. Well, that's not true. In here we have taste art as well. It's that same sense of you get the whole experience. Beautiful aesthetic, beautiful smell, beautiful taste, and in addition to that, a beautiful mouthfeel. By the way, that was a 200-degree sip. I forgot to remind all of you. But all of you are experienced. I bring you first light. And what I require is for you to take good notes, because next week we're going to talk about flowery passion, and then we're going to keep talking about cliff teas for the remaining 4 additional weeks. So this is a great deep session for cliff teas. All right, your responsibilities this week, as always, stay healthy. We'll see you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.